So the story you tell is going to build the pathway for the life that you live. The next piece I want to share with you, which has actually changed my life to understand this, and that is your story is the source of your suffering. It is not your circumstance that is the source of your suffering. It's not your life situation that's the source of your suffering. It's not the family that you were born into. What is the source of your suffering is your story, the way that you're interpreting the situation. Here's where I want to tell you a little bit about my own situation. At the beginning of the year, my mom had some health problems that just escalated, and she ended up going to skilled nursing, which then more problems led into full-time nursing care. Very stressful. If anybody's been through that, you know what I mean. Very, very stressful. I was so bone tired when I was dealing with selling the house she lived in, which actually belongs to me, because she was going to have to live there, getting her set up on Medicaid, doing the things that are really very emotionally draining, and trying to keep her feeling supported and comfortable and being there every single day when so much business was coming in for me. And it was coming in for me because I had just authored a new book, and I had just authored a new program for LinkedIn Learning. And a part of me felt resentful and tired, and I was suffering. And I remember feeling so depressed at one point that I decided, well, what would I do if I were coaching someone? How would I take my own medicine? Because I can tell you that coaching is different than when you're living it, because when you're coaching someone, you're on the outside supporting someone, and you're not feeling all the emotions. But when you're in the problem, it feels different. You know that. That's I always say we all know the answers in a workshop. So I always spend private time every morning. I have a morning routine, and I got my journal out and I said, if I were coaching someone, what would I say? Because I'm really distraught. I'm tired. I'm really quite miserable. And what came to me is that the story is the source of my suffering. So then I said, well, what story am I telling myself about this? Am I saying this shouldn't happen? Am I saying it would happen to me right when things really begin to explode and I get all these opportunities? And then I realized that I was seeing this situation as an obstacle instead of an opportunity to learn, and an opportunity to get clear, and an opportunity to just say, this is part of my life. And it's about, I'm supposed to have this experience because I am having it. And so when I changed the journaling, when I changed the story about this is my life, it's not an obstacle, it's a choice. And the choices are hard right now. And I have to say no to things I would love to do, but I'm trusting the journey. I'm trusting what I'm supposed to know from this. And so then I was just able to just journal about my gratitude for everything I'm learning, and for how this is making me more compassionate for the elderly, and how this is making me realize that we're all going really toward the aging process. So that's a very personal story, but I really hope it helps someone that is maybe going through that, or you're suffering in some way because you've got an illness, or you're dealing with a family member that you love, and that affects your leadership journey. I want you to realize that we don't live in separate compartments. And so when we learn to look at narrative, whether it's in our life or whether it's with an employee that's hard to get along with, or whether you need to have a conversation with someone 2 or 3 layers above you in power and authority, you have to understand that what's making you suffer is not them. It's the story that you're telling yourself about it. So I hope that that makes sense. And I hope that that is helpful.